Contrary to what people say out there, you can get it right once, but that's if you're looking in the right direction. You don't have to go through the trial and error kind of relationship that is prevalent today, and you don't have to experience pain or heartbreak before you find the right one for you. There's just no need to get unnecessary scars before you get the gold. You can ease yourself all of that stress by going to God and letting Him choose for you. In this case, you've got nothing to lose and everything to gain by seeing things the way God sees them. Don't follow the crowd and stop looking in the direction that every other person is. That will only land you in the situation of the common general, which is usually heartbreak and divorce in marriage. You might want to avoid this route by going in the direction God wants you to, even if it might take some time. God knows what is best for you. Believe it or not, He understands and knows you better than you know yourself. He knows who fits your personality and temperament. He knows who will be able to accommodate your weaknesses and flaws. He knows just the right person to pair you with that will help you achieve your dreams and purpose in life, which is very important. Instead of going to social media and using the measures of the world as your standard, why not look up to God? Why not wait on Him to direct your path and guide your steps? It may be that the delay that you're currently experiencing is because you've been looking in the wrong direction. Maybe you've been pushing the right people away from you with all of the high standards and requirements. You need to come down from your high horse and humble yourself if you want to get it right. Stop gauging everyone you meet out there and placing them on your scale. He may not be getting a fat salary today, but you don't know what the future holds. They may not be popular or meet up with the standards of the world, but what does God have to say about that person? And you might even end up meeting in places that are not likely, but you would easily dismiss such a person if you're looking in the wrong direction. When you do not have an open heart to accept people or the plans that God has for you, you end up boxing yourself and missing out on so many opportunities. You may think your husband or wife would be one of your colleagues at your workplace, when the person God has prepared for you might be someone in your Sunday school class. With God, there are no stereotypes, and He could just decide to work in a different way than you have known or experienced. We're humans, and there's no denying that we have our personal desires and tastes, which sometimes run contrary to what God wants for us. But that's the flesh at work there, and you don't have to give in to the flesh. Subject your desires and thoughts to God, and you will see the beauty and greatness that lies ahead with the one that God has prepared for you. Besides, there is this assurance that we have, that God can never be wrong. Remember that there's a time for everything, and God has it all planned out in His books written concerning you. He has planned out your marriage and prepared the right person for you. If you wait for the right time and you're not looking in the wrong direction, you won't miss the one that God has prepared for you. The problem is that most often than not, many of us are in a hurry to get into a relationship and marry. We compare ourselves to our friends and allow unnecessary pressures to push us into the arms of the wrong person. You might come to realize later on that you're with the wrong person, but it might be too late by then, because while the right person was waiting, you were entangled with someone else. Learn to put your trust in God and believe that He has the perfect plan for your life, which includes the perfect person for you. Also, ensure to make God's standard your standard. Look beyond the container to the content, and don't let materialism, physical features, or mere emotions be the basis for your choice. Whatever you do, and when it is time to make a choice, always go back to check with God. That way, you won't miss the right one that God has prepared for you. While it's not wrong to have a particular checklist of how you want your spouse to look or other characteristics that they should possess, it's also very important to ensure that you do not box yourself or ruin your chances of getting a good partner by the choices you make or the direction that you're looking at. Especially as believers, one thing you should learn as you grow in your walk with God is that you cannot box God or dictate to Him. The things you want for yourself are things that might later come to shoot you in the leg. In making a choice, especially when it comes to the issue of marriage, you have to have an open heart that can accommodate what God wants for you. Otherwise, you end up making a wrong choice that you come to regret later in life. When it comes to choosing a spouse, your priority should not be their looks or what they possess. In other words, don't place too much focus on the external appearances of an individual. Rather, your choice should be what God wants for you. That should take priority when you are considering a life partner. Then all things can follow. So you just have to trust that God knows what and who is best for you. You have to believe that when He says you should go with a particular person, He is making the right choice and you won't end up regretting following His instructions. Looks can be deceiving, and the things that you're looking out for may fail you in the end. Beauty is not a guarantee of a beautiful marriage, nor do riches secure a home. Otherwise, why do many beautiful ladies end up in homes where they're being abused, and why do the rich often divorce each other at the end of it all? Moreover, all of those things are ephemeral and can fade within the twinkling of an eye. Beauty fades and accidents happen that can cause a once lovely face to become something irritable. Money can also develop wings, and a once rich man or lady can become bankrupt or go into poverty faster than you can blink. If these were your reasons for marrying that person and eventually those things became non-existent, what would become of your marriage?
About 90% of people are anxious and confused about who to marry because of the news of divorce and the negative effects of marriage around the world. And even those who are considered mentors have had experiences when it comes to marriage. This is why we have to pray and fast. This is the very reason why we seek the face of God. It is God Himself that calls people into marriage. And if you want to have a beautiful marriage that will give you joy and happiness, it has to be with the person that God can only give. The Bible tells us in James 1 that every good and perfect gift comes from above. It comes from the Father of lights, in whom there is no changing. Marriage is a gift from God, except God gives you the right person. You will run into many errors and many problems in your marriage because you are walking after the flesh. God cannot give anything that is out of the boundary of your desire. God only rewards faith, and this kind of faith should be a faith that has a strong and yearning desire. Under the law, which is the former age, there is a commandment against covetousness, which says, "Thou shalt not covet." But under this age, God told us to covet the gifts of God. Marriage is a gift of God, so you can hunger and set your expectations concerning what you want God to do for you.